In the quiet of a small-town hospital room, the steady beep of the heart monitor was the only sound breaking the silence. I sat there, holding his hand, feeling the cold seep through his fingers into mine. It was surreal, like a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. Just hours ago, we were laughing, sharing stories, and planning our future adventures. Now, here I was, staring at his lifeless body, trying to process the words, car accident. Jake was just a friend, or so I thought. We met in high school, both of us misfits in our own ways. He was the artsy kid with a sketchbook always in hand, and I was the quiet one, always lost in a book. Our friendship was effortless, a sanctuary from the chaos of teenage life. We shared secrets, dreams, and even our first heartbreaks. Though mine was a secret I kept buried deep, even from him. As we grew older, our bond only strengthened. We went to college together, shared an apartment, and even started a small business, a quirky coffee shop that became our second home. Jake was the creative force, designing the menu and decor, while I handled the logistics. We were a perfect team, and our customers loved the unique vibe we created. But there was always something more, a tension that neither of us dared to acknowledge. One evening, after a long day at the shop, we found ourselves sitting on the rooftop, watching the stars. The city lights twinkled below, and the cool breeze carried the scent of distant rain. Jake turned to me, his eyes reflecting the moonlight, and said, "You know, sometimes I wonder what it would be like if we were more than just friends." My heart skipped a beat, but before I could respond, he laughed it off. "Just kidding. Forget I said that." But I couldn't forget. Those words echoed in my mind, stirring feelings I had long suppressed. The next day, everything changed. Jake was hit by a car while crossing the street, and suddenly, our world was turned upside down. As I sat by his hospital bed, holding his hand, I realized that I couldn't lose him. He was more than just a friend. He was my everything. The thought of a future without him was unbearable. I whispered to him, "Jake, I need you to come back. I need you to know that you're not just a friend to me. You're so much more." Tears streamed down my face as I poured out my heart, hoping against hope that he could hear me. And then, miraculously, his fingers twitched. His eyes fluttered open, and he looked at me with a weak smile. "You mean it?" he whispered. I nodded, unable to speak through the lump in my throat. "I mean it," I finally managed to say. "I love you, Jake. I always have." In that moment, everything changed. Our journey had taken a turn neither of us expected, but it was a turn that felt right, like coming home after a long journey. As Jake recovered, we began to explore this new dimension of our relationship. It was scary, exhilarating, and more fulfilling than anything we had ever experienced. We faced challenges, both from within and from the world around us, but we faced them together. Our love story was far from conventional, but it was ours, and that made it perfect. Looking back, I realized that sometimes the most unexpected journeys are the ones that lead us to our true selves. Jake was just a friend, but he became my everything. Our story is a testament to the power of love, friendship, and the courage to embrace who we truly are. If you've enjoyed our journey, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt stories. Watch our videos and let us know your favorite part in the comments below. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to share more of our adventures with you. As Jake recovered, our world shifted in ways we never imagined. The coffee shop, once our sanctuary, became a battleground of whispers and stares. Our small town, with its charming streets and familiar faces, suddenly felt foreign and unwelcoming. News of our relationship spread like wildfire, and while some customers were supportive, others turned their backs on us. It was a harsh reality check, but we were determined to stand our ground. One day, a group of protesters gathered outside our shop, holding signs with hateful messages. It was a shocking sight, and for a moment, I felt a wave of fear. But Jake, ever the optimist, took my hand and said, "We can't control what they think, but we can control how we react. Let's show them that love is stronger than hate." With that, he led me outside, and we stood there, hand in hand, facing the crowd. The tension was palpable, but we refused to back down. To our surprise, some of our regular customers joined us, forming a human chain of support. It was a powerful moment, one that reminded us that there was still goodness in the world. The protesters eventually dispersed, but the experience left a lasting impact on us. We realized that our love story was bigger than just the two of us. It was a beacon of hope for others who felt marginalized and alone. In the midst of this turmoil, we received an unexpected letter. It was from Jake's estranged father, a man who had disowned him years ago for being gay. The letter was brief but poignant. He wrote that he had heard about Jake's accident and our relationship, and it had made him rethink his beliefs. He wanted to meet us, to apologize and try to mend the broken bridges. It was a twist we never saw coming, and it filled us with a mix of emotions: hope, fear, and a cautious optimism. The meeting was tense at first. Jake's father, a stern man with a military background, sat across from us, his eyes filled with a mix of regret and uncertainty. But as we talked, sharing our journey and the challenges we faced, his demeanor softened. He listened, really listened, and for the first time we saw a glimpse of the man Jake had always hoped his father could be. By the end of the meeting, there were tears and hugs, a promise to stay in touch and build a new relationship based on understanding and acceptance. It was a turning point, not just for Jake and his father, but for us as a couple. We realized that our love had the power to heal, to bridge gaps, and to bring people together. But just as things seemed to be falling into place, another twist awaited us. One evening, as we were closing the shop, a mysterious envelope was slipped under the door. Inside was a letter, typed and unsigned, threatening to burn down our coffee shop if we didn't repent our sins and close the business. It was a chilling reminder that while we had made progress, there was still a long way to go. We reported the threat to the police, but they couldn't do much without more evidence. We were left feeling vulnerable and uncertain. But amidst the fear, there was also a renewed determination. We wouldn't let hate win. We decided to fight back, not with violence, but with love and community. We organized a community event, inviting everyone to come together and celebrate diversity and acceptance. It was a risk, but it was a risk worth taking. The response was overwhelming. People from all walks of life showed up, sharing their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs. It was a night filled with laughter, tears, and a sense of unity that transcended all differences. As we stood there, surrounded by our community, I looked at Jake and knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would face them together. Our journey was far from over, but every step, every twist and turn, had brought us closer to who we were meant to be. And in that moment, I knew that our love story was just beginning. In the aftermath of the community event, Jake and I felt a renewed sense of purpose. We decided to expand our coffee shop into a community center, a safe space where people could be themselves without fear of judgment. It was a bold move, one that required us to pour all our savings and energy into this new venture. But we were driven by a vision, a dream to create something meaningful and lasting. As we worked tirelessly to renovate the space, we encountered another unexpected twist. One day, a young woman named Lily walked into our shop. She was timid, her eyes darting nervously around the room. She approached the counter and asked if we were hiring. There was something about her, a vulnerability that resonated with us. We offered her a job on the spot, and she became a part of our growing family. Lily quickly proved to be an asset, her warmth and kindness winning over our customers. But there was a sadness in her eyes, a story she kept hidden. One evening, after a long day, she broke down and shared her secret. She was transgender, and her family had disowned her when she came out. She had been living on the streets, struggling to find acceptance and a sense of belonging. Her story touched us deeply, and we knew we had to do more. We decided to turn a part of our community center into a shelter for LGBTQ+ youth who had been displaced or rejected by their families. It was a daunting task, one that required navigating legal hurdles and financial challenges. But with the support of our community and a fierce determination, we made it happen. The shelter, which we named Rainbow Haven, became a beacon of hope. Word spread, and soon we were receiving calls from all over the country. Young people, desperate for a safe space, found their way to our doorstep. Each story was heartbreaking, but each story was also a testament to resilience and courage. Amidst this whirlwind of change, Jake and I found ourselves growing closer than ever. Our love deepened, strengthened by the shared purpose and the challenges we faced together. We became not just partners in life, but partners in a mission to make the world a better place. But just as things seemed to be falling into place, another storm hit. A powerful businessman in town who had been quietly opposing our efforts decided to take matters into his own hands. He used his influence to stir up trouble, spreading lies and misinformation about our shelter. He claimed that we were a danger to the community, that we were corrupting the youth. It was a brutal blow, one that threatened to undo all our hard work. We were devastated, but we refused to give up. We fought back, organizing rallies and reaching out to the media to tell our side of the story. It was an uphill battle, but we were determined to stand our ground. The community rallied behind us, and slowly, the tide began to turn. One day, as we were preparing for a press conference, Jake received a call that would change everything. It was from a lawyer, informing us that an anonymous donor had come forward, offering to fund our shelter and community center. It was a miracle, a lifeline that came just when we needed it most. With the financial burden lifted, we were able to focus on expanding our services. We hired more staff, including counselors and social workers, to provide comprehensive support to our residents. We also started outreach programs, visiting schools and community centers to educate people about LGBTQ+ issues and promote acceptance. Through it all, Jake and I remained each other's rock. Our love story was no longer just about us. It was about the lives we touched, the differences we made. We had become more than just a couple. We had become a symbol of hope and resilience. As we looked back on our journey, we realized that every twist and turn had led us to this moment. We had faced heartache, loss, and countless challenges. But we had also found love, purpose, and a community that embraced us for who we were. And in that realization, we found a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. Our story was far from over, but we knew that no matter what lay ahead, we would face it together, hand in hand, hearts intertwined. Just as we were settling into our new roles, another curveball was thrown our way. One day, a letter arrived from Jake's mother, a woman we hadn't heard from in years. She had left Jake's father when Jake was young, unable to accept her son's sexuality. Her letter was a shock, filled with apologies and a desperate plea to reconnect. She wrote that she had been following our journey from afar, and seeing our courage and love had made her realize the magnitude of her mistakes. Jake was torn. The wounds from his mother's abandonment ran deep, and the thought of opening those old scars was daunting. But there was also a part of him that longed for closure, for a chance to heal the pain of the past. We talked it over, weighing the pros and cons, and ultimately decided to meet her. It was a risk, but it was also an opportunity for healing and forgiveness. The meeting was emotional, to say the least. Jake's mother, a frail woman with eyes filled with regret, sat across from us in a quiet cafe. She spoke of her struggles, her fears, and her journey towards acceptance. It was raw, honest, and heart-wrenching. Jake listened, his expression a mix of pain and understanding. When she finished, he took a deep breath and shared his own journey, the hurt he had carried, and the love he had found. It was a turning point, not just for Jake and his mother, but for our entire family. Over time, Jake's mother became an active part of our lives, volunteering at the community center and even reconciling with Jake's father. Their reunion was a testament to the power of forgiveness and the healing that comes with time. But just as we were celebrating this newfound peace, another storm brewed on the horizon. A group of extremists, fueled by hatred and misinformation, began targeting our community center. They vandalized our walls, left threatening messages, and even attempted to disrupt our events. It was a frightening reminder that our fight for acceptance was far from over. We refused to be intimidated. Instead, we doubled down on our efforts, organizing more events, reaching out to more people, and spreading our message of love and acceptance even further. We installed security cameras, hired guards, and made sure that our community felt safe and protected. One night, as we were locking up the center, we noticed a figure lurking in the shadows. My heart raced as I clutched Jake's hand, ready to face whatever danger lay ahead. But as the figure stepped into the light, we recognized him. It was one of the protesters who had been causing trouble. Only this time, his eyes were filled with tears, not hatred. He told us that he had been struggling with his own sexuality, that his actions had been driven by fear and self-loathing. Seeing our courage and love had made him realize that he was on the wrong path. He wanted to change, to be a part of something positive, something real. It was a moment of profound transformation, one that reminded us that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. We welcomed him into our community with open arms, offering support and understanding. His story became a beacon of hope for others, a testament to the power of change and redemption. Our community grew stronger, more united, and more determined than ever to fight for a better world. Through it all, Jake and I remained each other's anchor. Our love story had become a tapestry of trials and triumphs, a journey that had taken us from the depths of despair to the heights of joy. We had faced heartache, loss, and countless challenges, but we had also found love, purpose, and a community that embraced us for who we were. As we looked back on our journey, we realized that every twist and turn had led us to this moment. We had become more than just a couple. We had become a symbol of hope and resilience. Our story was far from over, but we knew that no matter what lay ahead, we would face it together, hand in hand, hearts intertwined. And so, our journey continued, filled with love, laughter, and a deep sense of purpose. We had started as just friends, but we had become so much more. We had become each other's everything, and in that we found our true selves. As the years passed, our community center thrived, becoming a haven for countless individuals seeking acceptance and support. Our love story, once a quiet whisper, had grown into a powerful narrative that inspired people from all walks of life. We had become symbols of hope, resilience, and the transformative power of love. But life, as we had learned, is never without its surprises. One sunny afternoon, as we were preparing for our annual Pride celebration, Jake received a phone call that would change everything. It was from a social worker, informing us that a young teenager named Alex had been kicked out of their home for being gay and had nowhere to go. The social worker had heard about our shelter and thought we might be able to help. Without a moment's hesitation, we agreed to take Alex in. Alex arrived at our doorstep, a small figure with a backpack slung over their shoulder, eyes filled with a mix of fear and hope. We welcomed them with open arms, offering a safe space and a listening ear. Over time, Alex blossomed, finding their voice and their place in our community. They became a vibrant part of our family, a reminder of why we had started this journey in the first place. But just as we were settling into this new chapter, another twist awaited us. One evening, as we were closing up the center, Jake turned to me, his eyes filled with a familiar spark. "You know," he said, "I've been thinking, maybe it's time we took the next step in our journey." I looked at him, puzzled. "What do you mean?" I asked. Jake took a deep breath and reached into his pocket, pulling out a small velvet box. He opened it to reveal a simple, elegant ring. "I mean," he said, his voice trembling with emotion, "maybe it's time we made it official. Maybe it's time we got married." I was speechless, tears welling up in my eyes. After all we had been through, this moment felt like a dream come true. I nodded, unable to find the words, and Jake slipped the ring onto my finger. It was a perfect fit, a symbol of our love and our journey. Our wedding was a celebration of love, community, and the power of acceptance. Surrounded by our family and friends, we exchanged vows, promising to stand by each other through every twist and turn that life might throw our way. It was a day filled with laughter, tears, and an overwhelming sense of joy. As we danced under the stars, I looked at Jake and knew that our love story was just beginning. We had faced heartache, loss, and countless challenges, but we had also found love, purpose, and a community that embraced us for who we were. And in that moment, I knew that no matter what lay ahead, we would face it together, hand in hand, hearts intertwined. Looking back on our journey, I realized that sometimes the most unexpected paths are the ones that lead us to our true selves. Jake was just a friend, but he became my everything. Our story is a testament to the power of love, friendship, and the courage to embrace who we truly are. If you've enjoyed our journey, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt stories. Watch our videos and let us know your favorite part in the comments below. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to share more of our adventures with you. Together, we can continue to spread love, acceptance, and the belief that everyone deserves to be their true selves. Thank you for being a part of our journey.